I feel Kellenberg is an extension of my own family. You guys help raise my children. Like, we do what we do at home, but Kellenberg really just helps build up what we're trying to do at home, and then they get so much more here.
Life is all about choices, daily decisions that can lay the groundwork for a future of fulfillment. We know at this time 8th graders from across Long Island and their families are facing an important choice very soon: where to spend the next 4 years expanding their hearts and their minds. The group with me today of parents, alumni, and students will tell you that there's no place better than Kellenberg Memorial High School. Welcome to the Flight of the Firebirds, a Kellenberg podcast. I'm Mr. O'Brien. I'm back again. I had a few last spring. I'm back again, now in my role as assistant principal for admissions. And joining me for today's episode is Tony Mirabella, a junior who made the jump to Kellenberg from the Island Trees School District. So welcome to Tony. Seniors Courtney Crimmins and Ethan Lindsay.
Hi, everyone.
Courtney came to Kellenberg from St. Anne's in Garden City, and Ethan from Wheeler Avenue way back when you were little, before you went to the Latin school. And now, and we're also excited to have longtime parent of 5 Firebirds, Mrs. Kathleen Hawkins, and her oldest, Colleen Hawkins.
Hi, everyone.
Who's class of 2022 that I got to know very well from our sodality groups over that time during COVID. So I'm very happy to have all of you guys here, and thank you for being here. And really the question we want to answer today is, like, why Kellenberg? Why an education? Why come here for the faith dimension? So maybe I'll start with you, Courtney. Maybe just say, if you remember kind of this process in 8th grade, like, what were a couple things you were thinking? And what made you come from St. Anne's to Kellenberg?
So when I was in 8th grade, I knew I wanted like an exciting atmosphere with tons of spirit. And when I came to Kellenberg, my older sister was already here, and she had told me something about it. I'd been to a football game before, and then when I got to go to the open house, immediately you walk in, you can tell like there's like a home atmosphere. Just like everyone wants to get to know everyone, and I really like enjoyed that about Kellenberg. And it was just so exciting and fast paced, and I enjoy that about a high school, and that's what made the decision easy.
And you obviously do a bunch of things here. What's like one of your favorite things that you do at Kellenberg you think makes it, pretty unique?
One of my favorite things at Kellenberg is either junior retreat staff, where I get to assist the freshman retreats, but I spent a weekend in Founders Hollow, which was one of my favorite memories at Kellenberg. It's a retreat I spent with like a tons of kids in my class, and we all got to get close. I got close with girls I didn't even know before that. And then another favorite of mine is prep, where I teach CCD to 6th graders after school at St. Anne's on Mondays.
So kind of give back, huh?
Yeah.
Tony, you're a junior. You also had an older sister who knew Colleen pretty well. How is the transition going from a public school district? I'm assuming your school district was a little smaller than Kellenberg. Did you feel like you got lost at Kellenberg? How did we kind of help you be part of this community?
Yes, it was definitely a big difference because my public school is very close-knit. But coming here, I felt comfortable because I knew a bunch of people were new also. The mentoring from my sister helped a lot. But it felt comfortable coming here because I knew that there was going to be people I was going to meet no matter what. So.
And then Ethan, you came to the Latin school, but you kind of made that jump as 12-year-old Ethan to the Latin school. And now you're kind of taking on the role of one of the officers of National Honor Society, and you guys have a lot of responsibilities for open house. So can you maybe talk about how that's kind of come full circle for you, and now you're kind of preparing for these students?
Yeah, so for me in 8th grade and 7th grade when I came, I was like really nervous because I didn't know if I would fit in. I didn't have like any people that I knew because I came from public school straight here from Valley Stream. And then now that like I get to know everybody and I've met a bunch of new people, and then I've been able to be voted as an officer, it's like really honorable experience because
a lot of work too.
Yeah.
But good a lot of work.
Yeah, because I get to give the same feeling that I felt when I first came here to others, and I'm like very grateful that my classmates have bestowed this role upon me. They think that I'm worthy enough to fit the role.
And I may have heard, you may not know this yet, but I did hear that you are one of the 4 faces that is going to welcome everyone as they come to open house. Did Mr. Kennedy tell you that already?
He didn't.
Oh, now you know. Now you know. Colleen, you graduated in 2022. You were the first of 5 of the Hawkins to come here. What made you fall in love with the school?
Yeah, so coming from OLP, which is a very close-knit community, I wanted a similar feeling. I know Kellenberg is a lot bigger, but coming here, I knew Kellenberg was like a family, and that's what it felt like walking through those doors. And my brothers also feel that way being here.
And you're the oldest of 5 and 4 brothers below.
Or younger brothers.
Well, we got to pray for her. And you too, Mrs. Hawkins. What did you think of as you know, your family went from OLP, where I know you're very involved in the parish, and then came here. And you also do so many things at Kellenberg, balancing, you know, obviously being a mom with your job, with also doing a lot of things for Parents Club. What made you feel that you wanted to give back and also send your kids here?
Just like you said, coming from OLP, I was really involved in there, and I still wanted to continue that here, because I feel like when you give back, your children gain more. When they see you actively participating in the school, and they see that you want to be here, they also want to be a part of the community. And Kellenberg has been a second home to our family. They're here, I don't know, 10, 12 hours a day. So 90% of their waking hours is in Kellenberg, because they love it. It's a home. They have a feeling in their heart that they want to be here. I want to be here. You know, it's
no, it has that welcoming feeling. And I think for those of you listening, you see that at open house. One of the things that we do in my office, and Tony actually helps down in my office. She's one of the student kind of helpers. There's about 12 students that kind of help. What are some of the roles you've been doing to like transform the school for open house?
Yes, well, we put posters together of all the clubs. We make welcome bags. We did a little open house photo shoot also. And I also tell all the, like, my friends from public school that are making the transfer as well, like, just come to open house. That's that's the part where you get to really feel the school. So
yeah, and I think that, you know, at the day of open house, we talked about Ethan kind of welcoming. Courtney, I don't know if you know what your role is, because you're involved in so many other things here at Kellenberg. So you're probably going to have to pick one to kind of represent.
Yes.
Do you know yet or no?
I do know that I'm working the open house for NHS, the 6-hour run.
Okay.
But that's an event that I was like, I need to work it, because when you come here, you can't like turn it away. Like you can't turn a blind eye after being here. So I knew that was something I had to be a part of.
Yeah, I mean, we welcome many guests. And one of the things that we do is we have so many students, alumni. I think this year we have 75 alumni. So each tour that's going to go through is going to have a faculty member, an alumni, and 2 of our seniors. So we're going to show off the whole building, but hopefully you'll have that personal experience. Ethan, what have you, I know you help Mr. Kennedy a lot, as I said, with NHS, but you also balance by running track. 2 seasons?
2 seasons.
2 seasons. How do you I think Kellenberg, we always say a well-rounded student. How do you balance those responsibilities?
So even as a part of a track team, it might sound like overwhelming, but honestly, it provides me with like comfort and ease, because I get to meet new people that are always there, have my back. And as a part of the team, like, running is one of my favorite things to do. So it like kind of calms me down. So then when I go home later at night, I'm like stress-free, and then I can focus on my work and study efficiently, and then get enough sleep for the next day, and then continue the cycle.
Colleen, how have you taken what you learned at Kellenberg and brought that with you to college? And you're also back here coaching, like right away almost. So what have you learned at Kellenberg that you've kind of brought with you to the next level of your academic career?
Kellenberg really prepared me for college, I would say. You know, I think college is easier than it was here. I think they did a great job getting us through, like, working through papers and studying for tests and everything. A lot of my teachers just really taught me to take it day by day and just go through that. So I've taken that and put that to college.
And I asked Courtney what's her like favorite thing at Kellenberg. Tony, what would you say that your favorite thing? Again, these kids have like a whole list of activities. If I told them to rattle them off, I might know more than them. But what's like your one thing that maybe if you go back to 8th grade, Tony, you're like, I never thought I would be seeing myself do this?
So once a week, I go back to my home parish, and I teach. This year I'm doing 4th grades. See how that goes. I'm teaching kids in the same like spot that I was in when at their age, learning about religion, and it's really fun, because I never would have thought that those teachers that were teaching me would be me one day, and getting to teach them an opportunity that I'm very grateful for.
I always think a lot about like when we talk about the prep program, is like how do Father Tom and Brother Ken feel that like they've taught so many of us, and then we teach you guys, and then you guys go out and teach. I don't want to age them, but it's like their spiritual like grandchildren somehow in there. And one of the things we hear is there's such a great witness when you see that Kellenberg minibus pull up to 9 different parishes on Long Island, that it's like, wow, these kids are doing what Christ asked us to do. They're going out and they're sharing, their faith with these younger students, and obviously showing Kellenberg. Ethan, what would you say is like your faith moment at Kellenberg? Like our theme this year is in the one we are one. And Pope Leo said that when he was elected Pope. And if we said that we are all one heart, one mind, we are all one in the body of Christ, what would you say is like your faith moment that like stands out over your last 5 or so years?
Over this summer, I got the opportunity to go to Rome along with a bunch of other seniors in my grade and a few teachers. And that trip really changed my faith life, because before then, I would say like I wasn't the strongest Catholic, but I realized that seeing a bunch of other youthful people praying and really dedicated to the faith, that really had an impact on me. And even getting to see the Pope like 10 feet away, that was surreal.
You guys were like real close, I heard. Yeah, I heard he was handed something from Kellenberg.
John Gaffney handed him a bracelet.
From Kellenberg. So somehow Pope Leo's got a Kellenberg bracelet on. And then what would you say is I know you said prep, Tony. What else? You also play lacrosse here.
Yes.
You do a bunch of other things. How do you kind of balance all that?
Well, I never like to pass up an opportunity because, only here for 4 years, so make the most of it. The day starts after school for me. Like my homework and stuff, that'll get done when I get home. Like it just balances out. It's so hard to explain, but you learn to figure it out if you want to make it work. And
then Courtney, how would you say, you're now a Marianist leader, I think, for Mrs. York. So maybe explain a little bit what a Marianist leader is, and how did they help you when you were a freshman coming from that smaller school to, the bigger campus of Kellenberg?
Yeah. So a Marianist mentor is like you've got a group of seniors in a freshman classroom, and you're there to like guide freshmen, help them out throughout the day. I tell kids where their rooms are all the time. I take them to their new classes.
No one's getting lost.
No one's getting lost.
Right.
No one's getting lost on my watch, and all the lockers are locked. But I just guide them. They're there for a guide. And that was something freshman year when I had mine. I was like, this is something I have to do. My senior leaders, I can list them off to you. Like, I know all their names. They were awesome. They were just like so supportive. And they weren't like, it's not like a hovering type. It's just like, it was like a friend that they like had all the knowledge of Kellenberg. So anything you needed, like they were there for, and they knew. And it was just like having someone who's not like a teacher, but is also like a student. So they relate to you, just makes it all easy. And I remember one of my Marianist mentors say, this 4 years goes by so fast, and now I'm in the sector, and it did go by.
Now you're here. Mrs. Hoggins, what would you say if I said the Kellenberg family? Like, what does that mean to you outside of your family?
I feel Kellenberg is an extension of my own family. You guys help raise my children. Like, we do what we do at home, but Kellenberg really just helps build up what we're trying to do at home, and then they get so much more here. I know my kids can go to any of these teachers, and they will help support you if you're having an issue or a problem. They will absolutely. They listen. They pay attention. They know when something's not right with one of the children. Colleen and Charlie talk about prep all the time, in their sodality group. So they'll refer back to, remember when that happened with Mr. O'Brien, or remember that happened with Father Tom, and they carry these messages home with them all the time, and it really is ingrained in them. It's just, Kellenberg is truly a part of their fabric, their everyday.
So Sodality is this weekly prayer group that was started by Father Chaminade almost 200 years ago, and we do this every single Monday from 3 to 3:30. The school literally shuts down. For those of you listening, like, there's no games going on. There's nothing going on, and every teacher really takes on a role of like a 4-year, kind of what Courtney said, like a role model. Like, we have the seniors, but we also have a teacher. And we could talk about SATs. We could talk about faith. We could talk about, open house. We could talk about anything like that. And I think that shows that family connection. Tony, what would you say, what were some of your nerves going in, and how did Kellenberg kind of help with some of those nerves as you started?
Yeah, so I was very nervous because, again, I wasn't used to a big school and coming to Kellenberg, it was very different for me. As soon as we did AAA, I was able to meet some of my friends already in homeroom. And
can you say a little bit AAA is?
Yeah, so the first 3 days before school starts, the new freshmen get to come in and kind of just run through their classes, get to know where everything is before everyone else comes to school, for a whole high school comes to school, so it gets a little bit, you get to ease into it. So that was definitely my way to get my nerves down, because I was able to come to the school, know where I was going to be going, who the teachers I was going to be seeing, and it was just a way to feel calm coming here.
And then do you remember like the whole process with like the tax exam and writing down your choices and then the open house? What made you ultimately decide that you thought Kellenberg was the best place for your next 4 years?
Right. So we had to list schools to come to, but I knew that it was either my public school or Kellenberg. And when it was time to make the decision, it took me a long time. But coming here, my parents, of course, wanted me to come here, but they kind of wanted to remain, not biased about, make sure that where I was coming, it was going to be for me for the next 4 years. And I knew that I've been with the same people from preschool, and I knew that coming here was going to not just meet new friends, but more opportunities, more experiences, more trips. So it was just like, why not?
So, and obviously there's a sacrifice that goes along with providing this education for your students, your kids, especially with 5 of them. Mrs. Hawkins, so can you talk a little bit about that sacrifice, both financially and probably driving to some places outside of your town for your kids, and why you do that?
So I am a product of Catholic education, and from grammar school straight through college. I always wanted my children to go to Catholic school. It just was so important to us. I just, going to mass and doing that with my family growing up, I always wanted that for my children. But my husband went to public school, and not that he didn't go to church and didn't do those things with his family. It just wasn't something that he really thought about until we had the conversation when Colleen was little. And she ended up going to, my grammar school initially, and then transitioned to OLP. And then when it was time for high school, it's like, it's costly. And at that time we only had, I think, 3. And then our twins came along, and now we have 5. So it is a sacrifice, but it, like Andy would say, it truly is an investment. Our children wouldn't be who they are if they didn't go here, or even just Catholic school in general. But we found in the 4 years here, they grew academically, spiritually. I don't know. I think they're amazing. But it is sometimes it is a struggle financially, but it's one that we feel that is worth it. And we would never change that for anything. Like you said, the driving, like our district doesn't give a late bus. So we are here every single day picking them up. But again, they want to be here. So we will figure out rides. I have Colleen and Charlie drive. Patrick now drives. We'll carpool. We'll do whatever it takes just to keep them here. And we want them to be involved. And many, many years ago, a graduate of here told Colleen, get involved. It will make such a difference in your 4 years. And it truly did.
Yeah, I mean, you don't come here, and especially your kids and all the kids here, you don't come here and leave at 2:48 every
Don't get
day.
at 3 o'clock by.
Yeah, because the experience of what Kellenberg is that makes it special, that makes it worth your investment, is all the opportunities that, you offer. I mean, you roam, teaching religion, going on retreats,
Charlie went to Israel.
Yeah, Israel.
He's a Eucharistic minister. I mean, the list is endless. It just goes on and on. There is something for everybody here. So if you're teetering on it just come to the open house, check it out.
And the other thing is you're with other families that make the same decision as you do. You know what I mean? I feel the same way now as obviously as a teacher, administrator, and a parent, but I see it with my own daughter that, I'm in Malvern. She may have a really good friend in Huntington. So we figure it out. We make the ride, and we put on some music. Sometimes she buys me a coffee, and we make it work. But it's important, and I agree with you. I wouldn't change that. No, thank you for sharing that, because I think it's important as as we look at open house, because as you said, it is an investment, and to take that look to see if you think this is the right spot for your son or daughter, and then to talk about it. And I think all the students here are happy that their parents made that decision. Ethan, I know you made the transition a little earlier into 7th grade, but how did you feel like academically? How did the teachers help you? Because obviously you're starting over something new, and I would always say that Kellenberg, faith and academics are first, and then everything else kind of branches off of that. How did you feel making the transition and getting used to the academic curriculum?
Yeah, so the first day I was really nervous, but I already knew that I was going to be okay because the teachers, they all spoke with such like enthusiasm and care, so they really were passionate about the subject, and I knew that was going to keep me engaged, and that if I ever like struggled, they would always talk to me on the side, like ask me if I would ever need extra help or anything. They were always just there for me.
Colleen, when you started, obviously you probably had a similar experience to Courtney, coming from a smaller Catholic school, and you were the oldest. Courtney's sister was already here, so she had a little bit of an insight. What did you feel coming here? And I know Tony talked about AAA, but different events that we did and things like that. If you remember any of that beginning of your freshman year.
I was definitely so nervous my freshman year. I went to school with all 4 of my brothers forever, and now I was all by myself. I had a couple of friends that came in from OLP, but I didn't really see any of them. I had no classes with any of them. But I just remember every event, especially freshman faith day, which was a really great opportunity for me to get to know my homeroom or like other kids in my classes that I had never met before. It was just a good way to make new friends that day.
Tony, why don't I maybe with this, like, you're now an upperclassman, you're taking on a lot of leadership roles. Is there anything in the next year and a half or year and 8 months that, you really see yourself doing before you graduate?
So definitely when I came to Kellenberg, I knew the 2 things I definitely wanted to do were junior retreat staff and a Marianist leader, because I think that that really depicts like the student you are. Like you don't have to be in charge of these retreats, but you want to be. You want to be supervising them. And the Marianist leader, it's just, they were so helpful to me that I want to be able to help the freshmen too, because everyone's nervous. Like, it's normal. And it's just, it gives you like an insight on Kellenberg before you can even do it yourself.
All right. This is going to be a little harder. Okay. We're going to do quick questions. Is that okay? Should we start with Ethan?
Sure.
All right. Help me describe Kellenberg in one word to someone who may not know much about it.
Welcoming.
Mrs. Hawkins.
The same question.
Oh, yeah. Same question. You guys get ready. Faith-filled.
Adventurous, I'd say.
Family. I was going to say home.
Home. Okay. And then if you were going to say, so let me do a couple Kellenberg acronyms and tell me if you can say what those words mean. So Courtney will go around the other way. Ethan doesn't have to be as nervous this time starting. All right.
Okay.
One heart, one mind.
What you want me to like describe? What it?
Yeah. What does it mean?
We're just all together. We all share the same things.
Okay. Colleen, atmosphere educates.
The people, the teachers, the other students, everything is all in one.
Tony, to Jesus through Mary.
Oh, well, being a Marianist school, that's what we focus on. So when I hear that here, I just think of Hail Mary, ending in Hail Mary always.
Okay. And we pray 3 times a day all together. I think I already asked you, Kellenberg family. How would you say, it's another good one we could use. How about Marianist family, Mrs. Hawkins?
I think of the brothers right away, and oh geez, that's a hard one. I do. I think of the brothers. I think of just the way that they do the prayers. We say the Salve Regina at Mass.
Mm-hmm.
I know they do the 3:00 prayer. I hear my kids singing the Salve Regina through the house. So I that's what I.
Fine. That's all normal. That's all normal at Kellenberg.
What I think of is being here at Mass and interacting with them.
Okay. And then Ethan, the last question would be, if we say, what is the Kellenberg student? He was not ready for that one. What does the Kellenberg student mean to you?
I got to say someone who gets involved and who's not afraid to try out new things, get themselves uncomfortable so they can become a better person. And yeah, someone who just is really open to anything.
Pretty awesome. If you're still asking yourself at home why Kellenberg, I'd like to invite you to find the answer to that question at Open House on Saturday, October 4th from 9 to 1. You can come anytime during that. We do have a registration online just for a more personalized experience. I think the tour will probably take 60 to 75 minutes. We also do have school tours if you're interested during the school day and after school. But I want to thank you guys for your stories and for your time, your testimonies. And once again, I'm Mr. O'Brien, and this was The Flight of the Firebirds.